Recorded live at the 2026 Landscape Ontario Congress in Toronto, Canada. Here's your host, Sean Sandink.
Here today with Sean Christie from Rugged Earth Landscaping. Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How in the world did you end up in the green industry?
Wild story. So I was actually a teacher. My training was teaching education. I went to the University for kinesiology, graduated from that. And then, went to teaching. I was a supply teacher and a full-time teacher for a little bit where we are in Muskoka. There ended up being a teaching issues with trying to find jobs. Couldn't find any. So that was a big problem. When I was actually at university, I worked for a couple of landscaping companies.
Oh, where'd you go?
I worked for Jansen Landscaping, HAL,
Nice.
up in Muskoka. Learned quite a bit from them. But then, with that, I felt like the labor industry was just not for me, which is kind of interesting. And then I carried on the university train, but I did love landscaping, like at my core. So when I graduated from teachers college, and of course got onto the school board, started supply teaching, that still really doesn't give you anything to do in the summer. So I had to
Right.
So in that case, I ended up finding small retail jobs and serving if I could, and those types of things. But it didn't really give me the lifestyle that I was kind of after. So it was either stick that out, try to find a permanent job that gives me full-time year-round income, or find something that gives me better hours so I can hang out with my friends on the weekends.
Right.
So as many landscapers do, they started out of the back of their Honda Civic with a push mower.
Yep.
And got a community grant, a business grant from Ontario that gave me the money to go buy said lawnmower and a weed whacker, and then off I went. So, and now I'm 15 staff deep, an HR department. We've won many Award of Excellences. We went.
Did you win last night?
We won an Award of Merit for our Bridges We Cross project. But in the past we've won year over year. So
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great story. So
Yeah.
let's take this way back.
Okay.
You slid over the word kinesiology.
Yeah.
So you were originally, that was your game plan, was to go into kinesiology? And
So sports. I love sports.
right.
So, and that's when you're at university and you take this class in grade 10, civics and careers, and
Yep.
and you do those things. And it's like, do you like sports? Okay, kinesiology is a great thing. Are you good with sciences? Yeah, there it is. So I was actually trending, and what I was really interested in doing was athletic therapy. So working for a professional sports organization, working with professional athletes, training, and medical care. So yeah.
Now, has any of that training come into play in what you do now? Is there any crossover at all? I'm just trying to think. I can't think of anything. But
I mean,
either something.
ergonomics and physiology and teaching staff about how to maintain their health and how to make sure that they are taking care of themselves while they work.
Right.
So that's an important thing. Ergonomics when it comes down to lifting techniques and strategies, and understanding the medical system when it comes down to educating them on working in heat and getting heat exhaust chair and those types of things. But no, my main training that I'm able to actually take to my business is actually my education background. So getting my bachelor of education.
What's that crossover look?
Well, it's if you can manage, and they teach you how to manage a 32 kid classroom,
Right.
hopefully you can manage several staff members. That's the goal, right? So
For sure.
And I was able to transition that. And what it also does, it takes you to a level of professionalism when it comes down to communicating to clientele. So if you talk to clientele that are that really want to work with a higher level company, and they are after that certain level of professionalism,
Right.
the communication skills really can go a long way. In person, at first initial client meetings, drafting proper written emails, vocabulary, grammar, all the fun things that we learn when we're kids. But
Right.
at the end, it's an important thing to a lot of clientele. So
For sure.
So
For sure.
yeah.
So let's say I'm your best customer, right? I want the whole gamut, everything on your menu.
Okay.
What am I getting? What's in the box?
Oh God. So we are a full service design, build, and maintain firm. We actually call it design, build, live because maintenance just
Design,
was
build,
and
live.
live. That's our
What a
that's
great slogan.
very cool, right? So we have design. I have a landscape architect that works for us. He does all of our landscape designs and site visits and measurements and all those things. That's if it's a project that the client is after. After that, we have a full award-winning construction team. We won awards for our design services as well, but our award-winning construction team goes and implements those the construction services.
Right.
We do everything from hardscape, softscape, from small, medium, and massive commercial projects, and then of course the maintenance program steps in after. So we educate them on how to maintain their gardens, how to maintain their patios, and upholding our warranties and things like that. So we offer turf care, garden care, everything from that type of
Irrigation?
We do not offer irrigation, but
Or do you sub it out?
We sub out irrigation, but
Nice.
but I also own which is a now new sister company of Rugged Earth is Wild Landscape Lighting. So
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So you do what about water features?
water features we do, yeah, waterfalls and everything. The project that we won an award for last night, that was actually that had a waterfall feature in it, so
Nice.
which is very, very cool. So but yeah, no, we do everything from head to toe.
Artificial turf?
We have not got like we have subbed out that. We would like to get in more into it, but our area in Muskoka, there hasn't been a lot of call when it comes down to it.
Because of that natural. You're in God's country up there. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
what a great spot to be working.
100%. You're kind of in golfer's paradise up there too. So
Right.
and I mean there is a lot of clientele that really are after a putting green or a
Sure.
golf hole or things like that. But 1 out of every 500 clients might be after that. So it's not a huge sell when it comes down to AstroTurf.
Not
There is-
yet.
Not yet. There is also rules in Muskoka about lot coverage and artificial aspects of things. You have to be really cautious about that type of thing. Anything close to a lake, putting artificial turf in it is not really what people from the lakes want to see. They want to see forest. They don't want to see AstroTurf golf holes right by the water. But yeah.
Is there anything you'd want to add to your business? Is there something you're thinking maybe down the horizon, a new menu item shows up?
From a growth piece, I think we're at where we want to be. I think expanding our site services, maybe more excavation services and that aspect of things, site septic installations and full excavation for new builds and things like that. But our design portion of our business is more internalized within the Rugged Earth umbrella, but opening up a Rugged Earth design studio that would stand out separate of Rugged Earth, same as I have done with the sister company of Wild Landscape Lighting. That's something that I would most likely be after.
Why did you make it a separate company?
There's a lot of we're in a small community. Muskoka is vast and large, but it does come down to it feeling like it's relatively small. There's a very heavy saturation in landscapers, and there's a lot of bullheaded landscapers when it comes down to it. And then a lot of landscapers don't want the stigma of having another landscaping company coming in and installing their landscape lighting. So
Okay.
landscapers
So this way, this company, so you could go with one of the other companies from Muskoka, because you guys are all like your competitors, but from what I've kind of overheard, you're also buddies up there, aren't you?
Oh yeah, no, the competitors, you have to kind of step away from it feeling like a competitor. I'm the president actually of the Muskoka North chapter for Landscape Ontario.
Okay.
As well. So I'm sitting on a board with
Your
all of these
competitors.
big hitters, and I don't call them competitors. We're friends. We talk. We hang out. We
Right.
bounce off ideas off each other. We communicate. If there's a really bad client, we will necessarily message each other saying, like, hey, if this guy calls you, be cautious, things like that. But no, I think a lot of it is as long as you are doing really high-end, high-quality work.
Right. Which Muskoka demands.
Muskoka demands. And the problem is we are super saturated with landscapers. A lot of people feel like they can execute high-level award-winning projects without a full education background. And it really does hurt the industry locally, but in the end, no, we are all there as a group, as together, go and do awesome work. The work is there. It's just one of those ones that, no, I don't look at it as being competitors.
See, that's pretty unique in our industry, I think, has a bit more of that than other industries, but you're in a pretty unique geographic, cultural situation
Yeah.
where it leads itself to that. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. That's pretty special.
At the last night's award show, I was the first person to go over and high five and give a hug to one of the other business owners that won an award of excellence, and they ended up pulling out one of the highest level achievements in Ontario for this year's award show.
Wow.
And I was the first person to go over,
Right.
give a high five, give a big hug, like saying like, that's unbelievable, congratulations, like what amazing work, I just got to see what you did, that's amazing. And I feel like that's what the industry is about. It's not necessarily about oh, like I got this job and she didn't, or
Right.
or he did. It's not that. It's the work is there. It's just as long as people are doing good work and I'm not having to go back and fix shoddy work. Because
Right.
then you're dealing with a disgruntled client or a damaged client because they have been taken through some form of ringer, and yeah, I could go into details about that, but it's
Right.
it's just one of those ones. It's not good. You want to see everybody putting out
Yes.
super high level. You hate seeing those horror stories
Right.
from clients that have had like, oh, please don't take advantage of me. It's not a fun thing to experience
Right.
when you are the home, or when you're the business owner showing up and they're worried about you.
Right.
Right? It's like,
yes.
well, no, don't be worried about me, but you should have been worried about the person you hired first time, right?
Right.
Yes, but
That's pretty cool community.
yeah,
That's
it is what it is.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned you got a government small business loan. If
Yeah.
I'm listening to this here and I'm wondering how in the world I'm going to pay for some new equipment or whatever, how did you know to do this? And what's that journey like?
Yeah, I think, well, mine was from, I think it was called, this is going back 15 years, remember?
Right.
I believe it was called the Starter Company Grant.
Okay.
And it was through a small business center in Muskoka. But I feel like, YMCA and the Muskoka, and local business centers, government represented sources there. There's always like the chambers, like that are local, like they all have those grants that are available to be passed out. Now, this one specifically was an Ontario
Right.
governed thing. Excuse me, and it was not really that. It wasn't a lot of money. I think it was $5,000, and I had to attend for 6 months. I had to attend seminars and classes and how to run and how to.
Were
run a
they
business.
valuable?
Oh, incredibly valuable. Yeah, and I'm still friends with the people that and other business owners that went through that program with me as well. And now I've being asked to go be keynotes at some of these now, so it's kind of gone full circle.
Sounds good.
So yeah, it's one of those success stories.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the like looking at it, like looking back, like obviously it's not a lot of money, but it was enough money that I didn't have on my credit card. I was a supply
Right.
teacher.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job. I was working minimum wage at that time, which was a lot less than it is now.
They pay
And-
teachers minimum wage.
No, like supply teachers, because then in this, I finish in early June.
Oh,
Teachers don't take
Yep.
supply days in the end of June. So early June, I'd finish supply teaching, and then I'd have from like middle of June till end of September that I had nothing to do. Right. So
So you're working at Turtle
really?
Jack's on the patio or
So you
something.
got it. Yeah. And I mean, collecting tips and whatever else like that. But in the end, no, like I was working like retail at a sports store in town, and it's like, yeah, no, it just wasn't for me. So I needed to find something, like an avenue that was actually going to make me money. So yeah.
Right.
And I guess in the end, going back to my education, I've always been a lifelong steward. Like I'm a lifelong learner.
Right.
Goes to my education background, my teaching background, my schooling background, and everything. So going to Landscape Ontario events just like this, and going to the seminars, the conference portion, and then volunteering and all these things. Well, now I'm the president of,
Right, yeah.
chapter. So like with all of those things, that really, I've learned how to become an award-winning landscaper through LO and hanging out and talking to all these other incredible companies and seeing at the awards, like, I want to try what that company did
Right.
at a specific project. So yeah,
How do you see technology changing your business?
I'm torn on technology. I think technology from a on-site perspective, different types of tech when it comes down to tools, equipment, on-site efficiencies, preventing staffing injuries, preventing all of those types of things. I feel like that is that's where I would prefer to have the technology aspect of things. When it comes down to certain levels of programs, invoicing programs, quoting softwares, things like that. That's absolutely. But when it comes down to AI doing scheduling and booking and client communications and things like that, I have zero interest in that.
Interesting.
I think
What would turn that page for you?
what
Or
like,
do you think it never will?
for me, I don't think it will. I think I've always the most sarcasm a person has ever had about a telemarketing agency or a communication is that I really want to speak to a person.
Right.
I want to speak to someone. I'm going to press 0 as many times as it takes for me to actually get a hold of somebody that I can talk to,
Yep.
because this automated service machine is not getting anywhere with me. I'm not saying that's what the AI programs would necessarily be like, but in the end, my receptionist, my office manager, my every single person that I have working for my business that I would call as, or I would name or title as being
Right.
the first line of offense when a client calls, those are the, like, clients love when, hey, you guys answered your phone
Right.
on the second ring. That's unbelievable. And then
And you're talking to
and
a
you're
real
talking to a person, and then, oh, what of these 6 dates and times work for you? That's amazing. It's not like an AI program just saying you're going here.
Right.
When you up at your cottage the next time, what works for you guys the best? Let's figure that out. And I don't know. I think there's a people touch, and I get so many comments. And if you go onto our Google reviews, you'll see it. You'll see like a few people have gone on our Google reviews and will actually say, like, from beginning to end, the communication was flawless. And we had great experiences from beginning, middle, end. I'm the first line of offense when it comes down to, let's get this person in, booked, scheduled, quoted, or designed, quoted, or quoted, then designed, then quoted again, and executed. And then our staff takes over when they show up on site, and they're unbelievable. And they have great experiences with them. It's just a flawless system. But if technology is going to try to get its fingers into disrupting that already perfect operating machine, why would it just doesn't feel like I want to try to make that change, unless it's tech that helps the staff on site,
Right.
technology when it comes down to GPS locations, or tech then it comes down to certain tools, or anything to make our staff's lives easier on site to execute to the highest level.
Right.
Absolutely. But when it comes down to AI driven reception, in this case was my example, but
Yeah.
AI driven, no, I feel like
Go back away
I
from
feel
that.
like I still want the control to touch.
Would you use AI in your designs?
No. No, because once again, there's AI designs, and
Right.
then there's award-winning designs.
Oh, well said.
And we've won awards for our landscape design. I'm a keynote speaker at next month's CNLA Summit for landscape design. They're asking me to go speak there about that.
Now, so you'll do lighting for other landscapers?
Correct.
Will you do designs for other landscapers?
Absolutely.
Would you ever spin the design portion of your company off to a different name?
Correct. That would be the plan. In the future, we're right now having we've now been in communication with lots of different builders, construction companies, landscapers that do not have, in our area, that do not have a landscape architect working for them, which is almost all of them.
Right.
We're communicating to many of them and offering like a heavy rebated cost,
Yeah.
so that they can in turn do the markups that they need to keep their business open and operating.
For sure.
And then it keeps our designer busy, and then in that case, yeah, as we move forward, it'll most likely not have like the Rugged Earth Design Studio name as it does right now. It'll have something different that I haven't thought of yet, but it'll have something different. That's probably the next step within the next couple of years.
So let's think about a Rugged Earth signature project. Have in your mind something, fairly recent in the last 3 years, that everything just was fantastic. It's got your mark. You're proud of this. If somebody were to say to you, take me to your best spot, you're showing me this. Share with me that project.
We called that project The Bridges We Cross. The project, the dwelling, the cottage itself was designed as a bridge. So it spans, the living room is 40 feet in the air, as tall as this building as we're sitting in right now. That's their living room. It's way up there. And the house spans over the top of a large valley. So we and the clients had zero access to their waterfront. So in this situation, we were able to design and install a moving underneath this bridge, walkways, bridges to get across. We did a 340-foot long rapids and waterfall underneath the house.
340 feet
Long.
long.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
from top at the where it started all the way to the catch basin,
Right.
which all of our supplies and lighting and everything came from SiteOne. And so we actually brought up Kevin and Anna from SiteOne here. They came up. I actually toured them on the property after. So I'll have to get them to show. I'll have to get them to show you a few pictures afterwards.
Absolutely. I'd be amazed to see that.
So we titled The Bridges We Cross. It's a storybook. You walk down the stairs from the driveway towards the water. You cross an engineered bridge, 10-foot long with steel I-beams. Granite is laid right directly on top of this, and then it's beautiful. The staircases follow these waterfall patterns that are there, and that's a fully recycling system. So none of the water is pumped from the lake or taken to the lake. All of the rainwater from the house is captured within the water feature, so it is a fully recycling system. Oh, it's spectacular. Yeah, I'll show you some pictures after this.
I'd love to see that, Sean. That's fantastic.
It showcases everything from hardscaping, the natural stone that we use, the natural flagstone granite that we use, the granite steps that we use. It had masonry, it had composite woods, and it had it had structures and building. Oh, it's and then the lighting, of course. No, it's spectacular.
Now, you've mentioned a couple times through this, and I can see the pride in your voice when you're mentioning this about your staff.
Yeah.
How did you find your team? How are you stealing them from other folks? Are you paying more? Are you grooming them from not knowing anything in the landscape world?
Mostly the last part. Grooming them from not having any idea. So
You're a teacher.
I'm a teacher. I think that's what it is. I've always had this hiring practice, which I've had to speak to different events, just like here about my hiring practices are hiring personality over skill every time. So in a certain situation, you of course need somebody if you have you're hiring for your HR department. Well, you got to hire an HR accredited person. So they know the ins and the outs. That's different. My head operator currently, I hired him. He was a cashier at PharmaSafe, which is a local drugstore in Huntsville.
Okay.
He was working minimum wage, and he approached me middle of the week. He said, I'm looking for a job. I think it's in the labor industry where I need to be. At 17, now he's 25 working for me, and he has 20,000 hours or something like that on machines from the last 8 or 9 years that he's worked for me, and now he's my head operator, and at 25 years old.
Wow.
And so he was my apprentice up front, and just so I got to, we traded off in and out. And at that time, I knew my business was growing to a point where I couldn't be in the machine anymore. And he had a bit of a knack for it, and obviously now he's spectacular. So it's same kind of. So that's one of those success stories. But no, I hire personality over everything. So if I can actually, my office manager, now she's got director of operations and all different titles with her now. When I first initially hired her as our receptionist, her and I had a conversation for over an hour and a half in her interview, because we just had a great conversation. And she's like, holy moly, I've been here for an hour and a half and I only got through a quarter of my questions. I hired her because I knew that, one, she could talk to our clients in a professional way.
Right.
We're going to be in the office for 50 hours a week. 52 weeks a year, well, minus Christmas, but still that long. I need to know that I'm going to be able to communicate to you in an effective, proper way, and that you're going to be able to communicate to my client. So I hired her personality over a person who had 10 years of receptionist experience. I knew she had the knack for it, and I knew that she had it. So yeah, personality over everything is paramount. So I have had a few people show up that have had experience, but in the end, there's a reason that they're not with another company if they have lots of experience, right? So there's a reason that they left that company. There's a reason that they're no longer employed by that company.
Now, it can work out.
It can work out, and it has in my business. It has. As they just didn't feel a good fit there. They came to ours. They loved it, and off we go. But in this situation, my hiring practice is always personality. Like that person who has the skills, they still have to meet my personality requirements.
Right.
Right? They can still have the skills, but yeah.
Did anything ever go south? Have you ever had where
From a staffing perspective?
not
Or-
a project, maybe it's a customer who lost it. There's a
There's
manufacturing defect, something that just it kept you up at night.
yeah, growing pains of a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, there's been some. I'm trying to figure out the ones that would be the best to communicate with you about.
Right.
There was a client that we did an award-winning project for. It was award-winning here. CNLA honored it this past summer as one of the Circle of Excellence national award winners. This particular project, it was special.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I was I was in Saskatchewan this year, that the big award ceremony. So I was flown out there and received that. But the client notably had some form of like a mental health thing. And so it came down to, it was difficult on the communication front, because one day we are absolutely welcome, and I am like, I'll cook for you, I'll clean,
Right.
do you guys want any drinks, whatever else. The next day it was a very opposite feeling.
Uh-oh.
So our staff had issues when it came down to like feeling how, because as we progress through the project and they're there watching us do the project, we're always looking for that like acknowledgement, that's like,
Sure.
hey, how we doing? You
Right.
like how this is laying out? You feeling good about this? Some days it would be like, we're God's gift. And another day it's, I don't want you on my property. And it's, so it was an inch. So from a battling piece, and of course there's that whole thing that that everybody's been talking about now, is mental health with staff and everybody.
Yes.
But people don't necessarily know how to handle mental health practices when it comes down to dealing with clientele, because
Right.
they're the ones that are paying our bills. And if we can't know how to communicate them in a professional, nice way, then obviously that was a struggle, and our staff struggled with that. I did, but I also didn't, because of my education background.
For sure.
I know
I was
how
just
to,
wondering that.
I know how to diffuse that situation. I know how to diffuse and communicate to the client in a professional way. In the end, the project came out beautifully. It's won a national award at this point.
Beautiful.
But the soured relationship with the client throughout the whole process, it's not like anything that we've had in the past, where they like are like, please come back anytime you want. We're, high fives. They see us in town and they're, over the moon, and they still call us and communicate to us, and, and we're still there doing maintenance.
Right.
This one ended up being very opposite of that, and it sours that, because
Yeah.
here you deliver a gold plaque level thing plus a national gold plaque level thing.
Well,
And-
hopefully their new landscape has helped their mental health. And
You would hope. I mean,
I would hope.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if you're talking to somebody that's just entering the business as you were 15 years ago, what advice would you offer?
Don't how to word it properly. Definitely don't go in it bullheaded that you are the best. And in a
You
way,
are the best.
maybe I am, but in this situation, if a new company is entering, or a new business owner is entering the world of landscaping or horticultural, be a learner, because there's horticulturalists, there's designers that are doing seminars as we speak right now, that are the best in their field, and I see them sitting in other seminars over there,
Right.
because they are lifelong learners. So as a landscaper, you need to be a lifelong learner. You're at this trade show, you can go around and see all the different products and get inspired by different things. Even if you did not submit for an award this year or next year, go to the Award of Excellence ceremony, buy yourself a dinner ticket, go and sit and watch and say, that is where the standard needs to be, and that's what I need to learn how to do.
Right.
So lifelong stewards, lifelong learner, that would be my biggest thing. Take advantage of all of the local chapter events, all the local chapter that are mostly free.
Right.
Workforce Development of Landscape Ontario has tons of free training programs all over the place. So learn, if you're going to be, because you could be a good landscaper, it doesn't make you a good business owner. And a good,
well said.
right? And when it comes down to educating from your staff, teaching them proper, talking to your clientele, there's education that everybody can learn, and I still have to learn so much. I mean, I'll always be learning.
So let's say I'm from the Muskokas,
Okay.
and I've just been listening to this, and I'm loving everything I'm hearing. how do I find you on the web? Are you on Instagram, this, that? How do I get a hold of you?
Yeah, Instagram, we have 2 handles. We're Rugged Earth Landscaping with underscores in between, rugged underscore earth underscore landscaping, and then wild landscape lighting as well. We have our office phone, 705-380-4413. Our website, always communication, is ruggederthmuskoka.ca. And then, of course, reaching out through Landscape Ontario to the local chapter is always the best, because it's got the best support that they could possibly have. So through Landscape Ontario, the Muskoka North chapter is who they'd be after. And then you'd be talking to the awesome people at LO. They'll be putting you in contact with me, and my name's Sean. And I'm the president.
Sean, thank you so much for taking the time today. Wish you the best of success.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Confessions of the Craft. Ensure you never miss an episode by subscribing to the podcast so you can be the first to hear new episodes and discover previous ones. Follow SiteOne on Facebook X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn for the latest trends in industry updates.